Okay, I think I got that.
So you pay attention to your body with interest to see it fulfill its function, which is to identify you perfectly. And that will mean healing. That's what you will be interested in observing.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you, Raj.
You are welcome. Hands. The gentleman in the plaid shirt.
Thank you, Raj. It's a joy to be here today, as usual. My wife and I have a business that a company we think has offered or will offer to license the products. And I guess I've probably gotten some answers already today on this whole thing, but I wonder if you might, if you have some thoughts on it, I would sure appreciate it. Whether we should, if the company is for real, that sort of thing.
Yes, yes, it is for real, and it is worth giving your attention to.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Hands. The lady in the black with the blue top. Yes, you.
Raj, I wonder if you could give me some insight as to what's going on with my grandson, why he's having the behavioral problems that he's having, and what we can do to help.
What you can do to help is to provide ongoing support, ongoing expressed appreciation for him, for who he is. He is feeling uncomfortable in his skin, so to speak. Changes are occurring, and he's not feeling immediate confidence in himself. Transformation, you might say, is occurring. And he's not experiencing it gracefully. He's experiencing it with trepidation. He needs to have communicated to him a lot of love and a lot of support for who he finds himself to be at whatever moment another is giving him support. Because under the circumstances, he doesn't feel himself as being lovable, and so he's not sure of himself. Just a moment. This is me, Paul. The picture Raj is giving is that it's sort of like a caterpillar who's made a chrysalis, and now it's time to emerge from the cocoon or the chrysalis, and it's like cramped quarters and uncomfortableness with that and effort and so on to emerge, and actually it's part of a birth process, and he just needs to know he's in a safe environment while he does this, and that people aren't doubting him in the way he's doubting himself. This is still me, Paul. He's in a process of emerging into a clearer sense of himself. And now Raj is picking up, which means that he is not going to gather his sense of himself from those around him. And to those around him, it might appear that he's becoming more independent. And so trust will be needed on the part of those around him. What everyone needs to know is that this is a natural, normal process that does not call for concern. That's the end of the answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd also like to ask, as a teenager, I felt a hand on my shoulder, and I've never forgotten that. It was wonderful. And could I ask who that was?
That was your guide.
Thank you.
Who still has his hand on your shoulder often. Okay. Hands. Right here in the front.
Hi, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Good. I listen to you and you say some wonderful things, but then it's going, and I have to do it again and again. Is it all right to? I can't keep all things that you say inside without working awful hard.
Then I'll give you a simple direction, a simple task. Instead of practicing faithfulness to a lot of things, I want you to not practice faithlessness.
What?
Faithlessness. In other words, if you can't keep everything that I have said clear in your mind all the time, at least in the absence of keeping them all clear in your mind, at least don't engage your mind in doubt and fear and frustration and all of the things that undermine your healing. It's not truly up to you with your mind to create your healing. It's the Father's will for you to be experiencing absolute physical perfection. the healing will be done for you because it's your birthright if you neglect to practice faithlessness. I see a frown.
What was that last thing you just said?
Faithlessness. Practicing the absence of faith. Faithlessness.
I shouldn't do that, right?
That's correct. I'm saying don't do that. If you can't practice faithfulness, at least don't practice faithlessness.
Oh, okay.
In the absence of doubt and fear and worry and negative, casting a negative shadow in front of yourself, instead of doing that, if you'll just be silent and in your peace, God's will can enter and you will experience healing.
Oh.
It's a miracle. How? Because of what God is. Because of the nature of being. Even if you don't seem to see it around you all the time, the nature of being is life-affirming. Which doesn't mean lying in a coma on a hospital bed for years and years and years because of a life support system. It means waking up from the coma. It means healing. Life-affirming means the coming to the full expression of perfection, like the opening of a flower to its fullness. It's your birthright.
Wow.
Each time I talk to you, I set your eyes in the direction of the way things really work so that you can let go of all the arguments to the contrary. Practicing arguments to the contrary is practicing faithlessness. That's what practicing faithlessness means. In the absence of that, in the silence of your being, God can enter. It's like once you sink to the bottom of the garbage can, pressed down by all of your definitions of how everything works, and you give up, what do you give up? You give up practicing the definitions. And all of a sudden the garbage can is empty of garbage, and God can come in and touch you right there in the bottom. And heal you forever of your need to create definitions that press you down and press you down until you finally say, Uncle. And this is true with everyone. You know what practicing faithlessness is? It's saying no to God instead of saying yes to God.
I don't have to remember everything.
No, you don't. There's only one thing that I've ever been saying to any of you. Stop thinking. Start listening. Be still so that God can come into you. The only thing that keeps God out is the chatter of your mind, your thinking, your confidence that you think you know how everything works. Curiosity can only occur in an empty place that isn't full of other things occupying your mind. You know, if you're watching a baseball game on the TV and it's coming up to the 9th inning and it's neck and neck, boy, you don't have any trouble being curious and paying attention. And if somebody comes in and says, you say, shh, 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 just a minute, just a minute. You have no trouble. You have no trouble keeping your mind clear of distractions to the thing you want to give your attention to, right? So no, it's not up to you. The only thing you need to do is the only thing you need to do is to become humble enough to say, help. Yes. Saying help is like saying shush to all the distractions and giving your attention to the source of help. And not giving your attention anywhere else until the last play is made and the game is won. And you know how it came out, which is another way of saying until God answers and you have your healing. But the healing comes because God comes in, not because you did it. The healing comes because what you did was nothing. You said, thy will be done, not mine. Help, God. And I keep saying that the healing is inevitable. Why would I say that, besides the fact that it's true? Because when I say it and you hear it, you have an end of the game to give your attention to watch for, don't you? Instead of what the doctors say and, you know, your friends say or your little own ego says. You see? Any healing you ever get is always a miracle. Waking up is a miracle. And what makes it a miracle is because it is the ultimate thing happening that you weren't responsible for. Anything you're responsible for is never a miracle. Even though it might be spectacular, it will never be a miracle because you had your finger in the pie. God's gift of Himself as the center and circumference of you, His beloved expression, is a gift that is made to you because there's no other way for God's love to be expressed. And so your experience of that will always be an experience of grace. not something you earn. By the grace of God. But the grace of God is part of every single one of you. If you're conscious at this moment, it's by the grace of God. It's because God is the only mind there is, and is the only presence there is right where you are right now. And you know what? Again, it's utterly natural and not special. You really have no other choice than to be the way God is being you. And as long as you try to be the way God isn't being you, you are creating more garbage that's pressing down on you until you finally hit the bottom and say, Uncle. Which means you say, help.
Uncle.
And what if you have to say, Uncle, 70 times 7?
Right. Go on. Uncle.
Yes. Because you can't leverage God. You can't leverage your healing and say, one way or another, I've got to have the healing after 70 times 3 instead of 70 times 7. There has to be a willingness to embrace your healing, your experience of wholeness. There's got to be a way for you to do it that involves abandoning the ability to leverage the healing completely. You've got to abandon any level of control that you might normally bring to bear in a transaction. And you've got to say, if I have to say uncle for eternity, I will say uncle, because I know that saying uncle and yielding to the Father's will is the only way for me to get out of this illusion of partial perfection. I'm willing to glorify God eternally, no matter what.
Uncle.
And the way you can do that is by simply neglecting to practice faithlessness. Okay. We will take a break. Okay, hands. In the blue denim top on the outside, the aisle.
Thank you, Rose. I'm asking about doing art, but I also think it's about being real more than doing anything.
That is what doing art is.
Okay. I'm asking you if you could speak about the process and the product of that process, what's left. And I don't know how to feel about it.
Art is very much like what Paul is doing today. You must abandon yourself to the movement of God. But you do it with artistic materials. You can't worry about the product. Paul can't worry about what kind of an audio tape we will end up with at the end of a gathering, or what it ought to say. You see, he can have no agenda at the beginning of a gathering, or at the beginning of any conversation with me. You must yield to the movement. You must sit down with your materials and let it happen. The key does lie in the words you used, being real. And being real is what is left when you have abandoned being a concept, fulfilling a role. You can't conceive of yourself as being an artist and actually end up with artwork.
Is it ever appropriate to want to show your work, exhibit your work, or in my case, is that going to be working against my own realness?
Well, let's put it this way. You will find yourself led to show the work that you are positive isn't yours. You get my point.
Would you like to elaborate a little more?
When you yield to the movement, you will end up, excuse me, you will end up with a piece of art. And you will stand there like everyone else and say, wow. Not wow, I did good, but wow, where did that come from? You will not be able to say, that's my creation.
What do I need to get to that place from where I am?
Abandoning yourself, yielding to the movement, and just letting it flow, letting it come. Art is not about control. Art is not about plans. Art isn't about preconceptions. Real art is a happening, completely out of your control. Even if the finished product is full of minute detail, I am encouraging you to dare to have the enjoyment of riding the crest of a wave, where you're always finding the point of balance in the movement and not so concerned about where you're going. Because then you will end up with balance and symmetry that you could never have planned, but it's perfect. And if you had been able to plan it, you would never have done it that way. You see?